And we're recording. Welcome, everybody. This is an exciting call because we are in exciting times with Nikken. We're on the verge of launching more than one country. We're in the middle of a launch here in Canada, and we were advised not long ago that Nikken is launching in Chile. So very exciting for all the people who are connected or had ties to Chile. The focus of this call will be for Chile. However, the principles that we're going to be discussing are really universal when it comes to whether you're launching a country or you're launching an individual. For all intents and purposes, regardless of where in Nikken you may find yourself, you'll find that the market penetration is so small, less than 1%, and our market continues to expand over the years, that virtually every market could be conceived of as a launch. And so when we're launching somebody brand new in the business, I kind of see it that way. I'm launching my brand, if you will, of the Nikken adventure with this individual in whatever country we're launching in. So these principles are tried and true. They've been proven. And I want to point out too that this particular launch strategy has created record launches throughout Nikken for the people who've actually applied this strategy. And I've had the opportunity to have a hand in at least 3 of those occasions where individuals went platinum within their first 3 months or earlier, and created sizable organizations that to this day sustain and have a residual income. So I'm all for a very aggressive opening 90 days, whether you're launching a country or you're launching a new individual. It makes all the difference in the world. You will find nowhere written that slow is better. Nowhere, not in our business. In our business, creating a launch and creating momentum is the key to getting that airplane off the ground, as you see that little kid there launching himself. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Our business, just as a recap, begins with people we know. If you haven't got a list, you might want to consider putting that together first and foremost, because you will see that most of this is predicated on having a very active contact list or a very robust list of names to contact. So whether you're generating those names on a daily basis or if you started with a contact list, clearly when somebody's in launch mode, this is a person who has an untapped market. Therefore, their phone list, and if you just go through their phone, you'll see they probably have over 100 names on their phone and all their social connections and so forth. So our $1 million list is really key to getting this business underway, the people we know. Just as a recap, for those of you who've never seen this, Contact and Invite Audio, it's one of my trainings on how to actually initiate that first conversation, which centers on a very specific formula of how to actually go about and create that initial interest so that you're not shot down before you even start. It's very important that we get the right start when we get that first conversation going. And this will open the doors to the subsequent conversations which we're going to have. So here are the conversations. The first one, which really centers around the person's why they would even consider having a conversation about an opportunity. And this really is about what's going on in their life, the 5 pillars of health. And I often speak right out front. I say, have you ever heard of a concept called the 5 pillars of health? No, I haven't. I don't talk about Nikken. What's unique about the situation that we're talking about right now with the launch of Chile is that's probably the time I might talk about Nikken. I would normally not bring up Nikken, but in the launch of a country, it's a very unique situation. And I want to really emphasize this point. When we're launching a country, we will do things perhaps more upfront, be more forward than we would in normal circumstances. And the reason is because it is kind of a pressure cooker situation. It's a really keen opportunity for people to leverage, especially the way Nikken has set this up for the launch of Chile. You want to jump right in and you want to be as forward as you can with the people you're touching base with in Chile. So I might say, have you ever heard of a company called Nikken? No. You ever heard of a company called, or a concept called the 5 pillars of health? No. This is where I'll reach into the 5 pillars and really help identify where this person might find a point of interest. And it's usually when we find out about what's interesting to them or where they may be out of balance, that they will be open to learning more. And so I never go into presentation mode until I know I've got somebody on the other end of that phone call who's genuinely interested. And again, in the case of a launch of a country, there's things that I might say that I would, like I said, not normally say. I might say something like, listen, for all intents and purposes, what I'm going to talk to you about is about the launch of a new idea in the country of Chile. Wherever this company has gone in to launch, they have created millionaires. It's not a question of if, it's a question of who. And so if this at all sounds like something you want to know more about, tell me now. So that's a pretty straight in your face, upfront approach. But what it does say is I'm dead serious, I'm heartbeat dead serious, and that we've got an opportunity of a lifetime. It's a situation that's happening right now. It's unique, and we can take a few measures with greater impact, greater force than we might normally. So I'm not adverse to bringing up Nikken in this first conversation under that context. The next conversation is going to be clearly, what is Nikken about? The products, the business, the system. And it's important that we mention those three things because those are three distinct things. The products, the business opportunity, what's the market that we're in, what are we dealing with? And the system, which makes it possible for people to be able to leverage and create an income stream unlike anything they've done before. I think it's really important you make that distinction. And then the what, of course, is what's it going to take to get this thing going? Strategy, process, tools. So this is a recap of the three conversations that we normally would have and the order that we would have them in, whether this is happening in one long phone call or a series of calls. The idea is to layer this information in so they will have enough information to know what they're saying yes to. And in fact, what exactly do we want them to be saying yes to as far as getting started? We don't want them just to get into Nikken. No. We are looking for partners to help launch the market, and in this case, the country. So this is going to require a little bit more finessing, a little bit more information, and perhaps a little bit more of a commitment on their part, especially when it comes to launching a country. I'm really not looking for customers at this point in time. I'm happy to have them, but I'm not looking for customers. I'm looking for partners, and I want them to know that because it's really serious, the opportunity that's in front of them. So a recap, this is the flow. We contact people from our contact list. We take them through a series of conversations, whether it's 1 hour call or 3 one-hour calls or a meeting at a coffee shop. These three things need to be discussed in this order. And the result is that they have enough information to say, yeah, I can see myself as a partner. And to define what a partner is, it's somebody who's going to put a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and their contact list behind this idea for a focused launch. Now, we're not asking somebody to do this for the next 10 years. We're talking about somebody who's going to focus for the next 90 days. And if they do that, they're going to have a business that's going to live for the next 10 years or more. So focusing their attention on, it's a focused effort, 90 days, where we're going to put a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and our contact list, basically our reputation behind this, to get this thing off the ground. Now, the flow will lead people in this way. A contact will become an interested contact on a percentage of people will be interested. And those who are interested will go through the information and decide whether they want to be a consultant or a customer. We're happy to have both, but what are we looking for? Partners. And lastly is the partner. And so what we usually do to lock in that situation is we invite them to an event of some kind. And you're going to see for the Chile launch, there's an aggressive calendar in order to facilitate this launch. So this event, which is either online or live, like the one that was just in San Antonio or the one last month in Toronto, these big events, what they do is they lock in someone mentally and emotionally to the idea that they, in fact, could be one of those people who go up on stage and become recognized as a platinum, a diamond, a royal diamond in Nikken with a long-standing career. It's when they get up close and personal with other Nikken people that it starts to really become something they can identify themselves with. So those big events are critical if you want to create a process that has a predictable result every time. And I'm talking about a process that you're looking at here that creates a predictable way to build the business. And I like predictability, especially if I'm trying to teach a system that people can duplicate. So I know it's predictable that if we take people through these three conversations, there's going to be a result. And this is how that result breaks down. So let's say for the next 30 days, our focus was to attract 3 partners. Working backwards, that means we've got to attract 9 consultants which means we've got to have at least 27 people interested in having the conversation about what Nikken can do for them. And that means we've got to have about 81 people or more on our contact list. So, like I said, a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and a little bit of contacts can create a result. What would you do with 3 partners in your business? A partner being somebody who's dead serious about building a business here. So we want to do this, and we want to help people do this in 30 days, which is an aggressive campaign. It's about 4 to 5 calls per day. So if you're working with somebody who's about to launch a country, knowing that what's at stake, that they have the potential to change their life and the trajectory of their family's life in the next 90 days, do you think it's too much to ask to make a commitment of 4 to 5 calls a day, knowing full well a third of the people won't be interested now? That doesn't mean they won't be interested later. It's just we're looking for people who are interested in having the talk now. And furthermore, that'll flush out the consultants, the customers, and ultimately our partners. We're going to have to coordinate our schedule with the people we're working with so that we can have these big events, plug people into conversations like ABC calls and so forth. So this is a recipe, if you will. If you were going to bake a cake, you would need a recipe. And of course, if you started mixing the ingredients differently and followed a different procedure, you're going to get a different cake. This is one that's worked for me, and it's tried and proven. And if you interview any of the Nikken consultants who've done really, really well, you'll find out that they do follow a system similar to that. So now let's talk very specifically. I'm going to switch the screen here to one camera so I can see this on the video. So here's what it looks like in the launch of Chile. Nikken has done something extraordinary. I've never seen this before. I think it's the best opportunity to launch a country that I've ever witnessed, particularly because ordinarily the company would say we're open for business, and then we're basically looking for people to go in and help get the market started after Nikken has gone ahead and started. Elaine Matthews, would you mind muting yourself, please? Thank you. So it's rare that the company will give you much of a heads up, and it's rare that the company will actually have some type of infrastructure during that heads up, what we're going to call the pre-launch phase. So let me just show you what's going on and why this is so special. On the 23rd of October, Nikken made it possible for us to pre-register people in Chile. So if you know people or who know people in Chile, we are now able to register Chileans as Nikken independent consultants, not yet formally closed as a Nikken independent consultant. It's just a pre-registration procedure. But what it does allow us to do is to create a network under them. So now they can in turn sponsor other people and so on and so forth. The emphasis here is sponsoring because no products can actually be purchased. So it's not a goal to find customers at this moment in time. It's a goal to find people who want to join and be part of this wave that's launching the country. And that began October 23rd. The official launch of Nikken in Chile is December 2nd. That's when the office opens. That's when registration is firmed up. So if you've got people who've pre-registered, they're going to be dinged on their credit card. And I don't know the exact amount. I think maybe Paulina can jump in with the amount in Chilean pesos, what it exactly is the cost of registration on December 2nd. Until then, it's free. There's no cost to set people up in the network. And then, of course, we can place orders for products. So officially on December 2nd is the official launch date. So we've got, yes, go ahead.
It's around $20.
Okay, so it's around $20, which is really, really inexpensive, but it's all relative, right? We're talking about relative businesses here in different countries. So Nikken's made it possible, made it very affordable for a person to say yes to getting registered. And don't forget all the benefits associated with being a Nikken consultant. So, I mean, even if you were looking at being a customer, it's not a bad idea. So we've got about 6 weeks, a 6-week run, which we're going to call the pre-launch phase. Now, during this phase, it's the most exciting time because, again, you can be extremely forward with people and short circuit a lot of what would be normally very long protocols to woo somebody, if you will, into our business. Why? Because we have a launch date. We have a date with destiny that's not waiting for anyone. And if you want to be on the starting blocks of that launch date and be somebody who has stature in Nikken, in Chile, as a result of the wave that's going to come out. So if you examine Nikken in the various countries that Nikken's doing business, you'll find that people of prominence are people who had a big start or caught a big wave. And there's multiple waves in any mature country, but to be at the beginning of one is always somebody's desire. And here's an opportunity for people to be at the beginning of a wave and assume a position of stature with the company, with other colleagues, with successful uplines from abroad who are actually helping them launch. So they're going to be names that are known to us in the very near future if they get started now and they have a great start. So it's a real opportunity to stand out. Jump in.
Yeah, Mike, I just wanted to reiterate that point because this is something really important. That if you look at any of the really significant leaders in our business, those that have earned the most money for sure through the Nikken business are those that got that prominent start at the front end of the market opening. The opportunity is great throughout the duration of the market. That goes without saying. Nikken in Mexico has been around for a long time, for example, and we've just had a huge surge of new diamonds and royal diamonds rank advancing over this last few years, and they're doing great, and we've got growth and prosperity many years afterwards. But if you look over the duration of history of these markets, those that do the best are those that really capitalize on the moment that we've got in front of us right here, right now. So we want to make sure that we seize that, because that could literally be worth a life-changing lifestyle for you and for your family if we capitalize on that. That's important to emphasize. I just wanted to stress that.
Great point. And I think part of the reason why it's so is because people psychologically have something in their head about being at the ground floor, being at the beginning of something. So they go and behave in a manner that's different than maybe 10 years down the road. So I think the launch attitude is what prevails in this time.
There is actually a science psychologically behind why that happens. Let me touch on it just for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, because this is a unique benefit that we have. For those of you that have been around in Nikken for a while and have experienced what is required to build a business, there are 4 stages that when anyone is involved in a business where there is change involved, there are four stages that they go through psychologically to adapt and respond to change or opportunity. Yeah, and we're in that phase right now here. And it'll be the same for anyone that joins a business, from here on in the future, whether they're in existing markets. You've gone through this phase yourself, guys, but these are the 4 phases. They begin as an enthusiastic learner and an enthusiastic beginner. And we see that with everyone that starts, enthusiastic to begin with. The second phase is they become disillusioned learners. Maybe there's some, as with everything, there are unexpected lessons that we learn, obstacles in the road that we didn't anticipate. We don't know what we don't know. And in the second phase, we're starting to discover that. So people get a little disillusioned. The third phase is they become capable but cautious performers. They're getting capable in their own skill set, but they're still a little bit cautious because they're evolving out of that disillusioned state into a steady ship, so to speak. And then the fourth phase is they become self-reliant achievers. They know what they're doing. They know how to get the job done. They're confident doing it, and they can be delegated out so they can get things done. Now, this is why, recognizing those 4 phases, everyone goes through that in their business. In Nikken, in any other environment where there's transformation, change, or opportunity that is being seized. And anything that is new, someone will go through those 4 cycles psychologically. The benefit that we have in a launch is we have an extended phase of time where people are enthusiastic beginners. Yeah, that period of that life cycle is expanded and stretched out. And the benefit of that is they become far more productive during that enthusiastic phase than in any other phase in any other situation. Because the launch, the effect that kicks off isn't till December. Yes, so any opportunity for hitting a roadblock, understanding or discovering an obstacle that I didn't know was there, that's going to be there down the road anyway, that's just kind of kicked down the road a little bit. So we've got this wonderful benefit of a longer duration of enthusiasm that we can capitalize on, and critically, as a consequence of that, help them get better results faster, which almost takes them past the disillusioned learner phase and takes them straight through to phase 3, capable but cautious performer, and then on to self-reliant achiever. What a great opportunity to skip out the disillusioned learner bit, because we've got this window of time like we have now. That to me is, like I said, you see that in every environment everywhere else. We've got that here and now, that extended enthusiastic beginner phase with a diminished disillusioned learner phase in the life cycle. That's huge.
And I would add, Ben, thanks for that. I would add that because of that, they're able to duplicate faster and create results that help them catapult into a business. In other words, when people have a downline, they rarely think about what might be wrong. They're too busy dealing with the downline and growing the business. So we're in this suspended state. It's almost like a movie where they suspend the reality. We're in a suspended state where we're able to get so much more done, which results in results that are great, huge. You're going to see people walking on stage in February as diamonds. No doubt about it. So what that does is it creates results. Of course, the results are then reflected back, and it fuels the whole process. So it's a very unique time because it's psychologically a unique time. So now we've got online pre-registrations for between October 23 and December 1. So starting now, and Ben, you have your first, and I don't know how many more you've added yet, but you're already on the scoreboard of online pre-registrations. There is a sense of urgency because the launch date will come and go, and there will be people on the starting blocks running full speed. You can bet there are going to be people who, as of December 2nd, will be running in full speed, like full tilt, maybe even full time. Why? Because they know enough about this or believe enough about this that they know that this is it. This is the big one. This is the one they've been waiting for. Those are called early adopters. The ones who are sitting on their hands or hemming and hawing or coming up with reasons or excuses and blah, 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 I don't spend too much time with, only because there's going to be people who are running I need to help and work with. So keep that in mind, that you are going to have all kinds of people on those starting blocks, but there is going to be a group that shoots out ahead of the crowd. Mike DiMuccio was one of those people. There was over 300 people that joined Nikken the same day I joined Nikken. Where are those people? I don't know. Left them in the dust. Why? Because I was running full tilt even before our official launch. I had a 2-week launch window. And so I took advantage of those 2 weeks by laying a foundation. And by the way, it was the 2 weeks during Christmas. So while everybody was trying to sit back and lean away from business, I was leaning forward and getting ready for a kickoff in January. So that creates urgency. There's incentives. This is an opportunity for incentives to be discussed and to be utilized. And I'm going to leave Paulina to tell you about the incentives that are specific to the events taking place in Chile, as to how to get somebody started, what type of incentives should be shooting after, and so forth in this pre-launch window, so that when December 2nd kicks off, many people are going to be qualifying for incentives. On that first day, on the opening orders, people will qualify for the incentives. So to have an understanding of that is part of this pre-launch process, because you want people to qualify for those incentives. Why? Because then people will follow the leaders. Let's go on. Here we go. The momentum phase kicks in after the official launch. Now it's a mad dash. It's the runners are running. And there's going to be events taking place, boots on the ground type events in December and in January, leading up to the grand event February 1st, where you will see people from all over Nikken world, myself included, fly into Chile to participate in that big event. That event will be the showcase event of the country, the very first of its kind, officially put on by the company. And as I said, since that is in February, that means the 6 weeks of pre-launch, all of December, all of January will be the momentum stages. So people will be rank advancing all throughout that. And I'm sure by February 1st, there will be people qualified at the diamond rank, maybe even royal diamond, certainly at the diamond rank, and for sure the platinum rank. So the question is not if, it's who. Who is going to be with their roller skates on starting now? And so you're looking for people and you're trying to convey this message. This is why we're recording this, because I want my tone and my voice to be heard by some of your key people so they understand the urgency here. They could be the ones who are going across stage on February 1st as diamonds, maybe even royal diamonds, for sure platinums. And for those of you who know what that is, please explain to your prospects, what is a life and lifestyle of a platinum, diamond, royal diamond in Nikken Lake? And if you can generate that in your first 90 days, what do you think the rest of your Nikken career is going to look like? Pretty incredible. So now, what is Nikken doing, or what are we doing as leaders, is we have a series of lock-in events. Remember, that's such a critical facet of the process, to lock somebody in mentally and emotionally. Well, if you get somebody interested, but you don't have a lock-in event for 2 or 3 weeks, that's too long, especially in this urgent frame of time called the pre-launch. We need a lock-in event like every day. We need a lock-in event. We need people to say yes and yes now so that they can get into launch mode themselves and join the pre-launch activities. So every week there's a special event taking place online for people who are interested in being on those starting blocks and getting the information sooner than later. So we'll go into that. It's going to be hosted by a bunch of Latin American Power A team people. And Paulina will get into that next. So this is all happening. We're already engaged. The first call is going to be on the 25th. Actually, that just passed. So we're now getting ready for the next call. So that'll be, I think it's I don't have the dates in front of me. It's on this coming up slide here. So now, in this window of pre-launch is when you're looking for your A team. These are the people who are going to be people you spend a lot of time with in the future. They need to know that they're part of the A team. They're the ones who give birth to the wave. If you look again and you look at the history of the company in various countries, you'll find that there's an A team in every country. Those are the ones who really make things happen, and they're the ones who are behind the long-standing presence of Nikken in any of those countries. So your A team is what you're after. Not your B team, not your C team, your A team. So keep that in mind, because psychologically, what does that mean to you? You're looking for people who aren't hemming and hawing. There's no time for hemming and hawing right now. They may be hemming and hawing because they've never heard of this, but you have. It's going to be on your confidence, on your word, on your conviction, on your ability to say, you know what? You may have all the objections in the world. We don't have time for that. This is happening with or without you. You just got to decide if it's with or without you. When you can be that bold, and maybe you'll temper it somewhat, but I'm trying to make a point. When you can be that bold, what you're saying to somebody is, it's not a question of if, it's a question of who, and I need to know who, and I need to know now. So let me show you how this plays out. So let's say week 1, somebody gets started with you. Let's say next week. Now, they're going to take from their contact list, and I'm not sure if you can see this, so let me get my little handy-dandy pointer here. Not sure if I can get my handy-dandy pointer. Okay, never mind that. Let's go down. If you can see my cursor, it's down at the bottom right-hand side, and I'm circling 18 contacts from the contact list are contacted. Only for 9 people to say, tell me more. From those 9 people who you do present the Nikken opportunity to, 3 say yes. I want to join, register me. Out of those 3, 1 over here is going to be a key player for you, because we just know it's 1 in 3rd. We don't know who that 1 in 3 is, but we just know 1 goes fast, 1 goes medium, and 1 goes slow, if at all. So there we go. If we know that that's the formula, and that's week 1, let's repeat. Week number 2, we make the same number of contacts. Now we're up to 36 contacts, 18 interested, from which 6 have joined. That means we've got 2 potential leaders on our team, on our front line. But remember, if you've got somebody right now saying yes, what are they doing in their week 1, which is your week 2? They too are engaged. They too are making contact. They too are inviting people to participate in this. And so they too are getting some people interested. And they too are getting some people registered, out of which 1 in 3 is potentially a chart topper here. So let's take this one more week down. 1 more week's down. You've gone through 54 names on your contact list. Remember, that list is over 100 names. You're not even halfway through your list. And you've got 27 people who are at least interested in knowing more. And then go, I think that number's a little bit off, but anyway, don't worry about it. I may have missed the number here, but what you got is a third of the people, and that's 9 people joining, 3 people who are potentially partners on your team. But look at the second level. In your second level, your first leader who joined sooner than the second leader could be well ahead. You know, they're starting to get a couple players on their team and so forth. If you do this now, twice more, in other words, go for the whole 6 weeks. Find somebody sooner than later, and they're going for as many of those 6 weeks that we have in the pre-launch. They're going to have a number of stars on their team. And the second the gates open, the second Nikken says we're open for business on December 2nd, what do you think those stars are going to be doing? Well, that's what we're going to talk about next. So, Paulina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
listening.
Perfect. I don't see you on video, though.
You really want to see me? Really? Okay. Yes, of course, I'm here.
Okay.
So
I'll control the PowerPoint. So they're just so you know, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. So this is very exciting because in Chile, they are launching with this that we already are working on in Latin America. And it's based like on this video place in which it's very fun. It's exciting. It's in levels. And it's about earning more money. And, you know, more than earning money, it's making it really, really simple. So if we can go to the next slide. This is about, in Chile, we're just starting with the different water materials. So that's the only products that we're gonna find. And you might not be familiar with the one that says P water. It's something that we have in Latin America, and it's gonna be in Chile. You are so familiar with the waterfall, but the thing that how we play, how we connect, and how we win with this is by whenever you buy one, you earn X amount of money. If you buy 2, the reasonable thing to do is whatever you earn, you multiply it times 2, and then that would be the result, right? Correct?
Right.
And if you buy 3, I mean, if you get 3 from Nikken because you buy 3, well, the most logical thing would be, well, just whatever you earn, just, you know, times 3, it's what you will get. But no, we get more. And this is because we get a bonus. Whenever we exceed the third water system in the different kinds that we have 3 different kinds in Latin America. Whenever you buy more than 3, and the optimizer, it's also included into those options, you get a bonus. So you truly earn much more than in a regular basis by selling just 1 or 2. So you really are eager to buy 3 always, because the amount that you are gonna make, it's absolutely very, very affordable. I mean,
let me pause you for a second, if I may, Paulina, because this is a little bit different than what we're accustomed to in North America. So what we're saying here is 3 units or more purchased by the consultant. So those stars on your team, what do you think they're going to be doing? They're going to be buying these packs of 3 or more. And why? Because there's additional bonuses. But the fact that they're purchasing them is for either personal consumption and or sales. Mm-hmm. So there's a sales strategy embedded in this. And I'm sure between them, their friends, their family, they're going to find some customers. But there's advantages. Go ahead.
what we have found and what we have lived, and thanks for correcting the units by sharing the units, it's that when you have one unit sold and you're like two are decided, you really get, I mean, you move because you want the third. Because whenever the third comes, the amount that you earn, it's absolutely much more. It's totally, I mean, it's doable, and it's very easy, and especially in Nikken, in Chile, sorry, since it's new, it's gonna be very easy. I'll just put myself in as an example. I'll tell, okay, I want this for me, this is for me, but I'm sure, and I'm gonna be sure that my mother is gonna want one, and my mother-in-law is gonna want another, and you know, so since it's new for everybody, everybody's gonna be sure to make this three
Sales.
the two sales possible. So that's the exciting thing. And that's going to be matched. Oh, that's in 1 month calendar, which it makes it easy. It's 1 month calendar, 1 calendar month, sorry. And the other thing is that I told you this is like a video game. So it has levels. This is our first level. See, our first level, it's about me connecting three units that can be different in 1 month. Now we have a second level in which I invite Mike. So I work and I really see that 3 units are sold, that I buy, that someone that I sell 3 units. And as I invite Mike, and this is awesome, Mike can already be in my downline or not. And we're speaking about inviting people that are in our team, which are not yet silver. If they're silver, that's another unit that's okay, that doesn't count for me. So, and I invite Mike, and Mike also, he's doing the same. He is buying, selling 3 different units. So that's our second level. And I'm gonna jump all the way to our last level. Our last level is, let's okay, let me see. I am the first level because I do it by myself. I invite Mike, he's under myself. He would be my first frontal, my first level. Mike, on the other hand, he's invited Ben. Ben is under Mike. So that is a double, okay? Double, like a double winner, okay? Mike wins, Ben wins. I am aware of showing them how they have to do it. I am doing it because I love it, and I'm selling my 3 units. Mike is selling his 3 units. Ben is selling his 3 units. So in this double winner that I have, if I do three different double winners, okay, Mike and Ben is 1. Let's say Kimbo invites Yuri. So that's my second. Let's say Michelle invites Barbara. That would be my 3rd. So I have 3 double winners, okay? 3 that are 3, and under them there are other 3. No, it doesn't look well like that.
3,
okay?
and under them is
3, okay? Like that, okay? So if I do that and we play it the correct way, which don't worry, you'll get, the little details, which are not that, they're not complicated, they're simple. You can earn almost $1,000 in a month. That's the equivalent of like the bonus that you receive. So that, it has happened in my group. Several people have done it. Actually, there's a couple that has done it every month. Every month they've done this ever since they started doing. It's around 5 months or something around. So,
so they're hitting King Tai every month, which is, by the way, this is also a calendar month that this has to happen.
yes.
Right?
So it looks like this. So it is you, and you have your 1 double winner, 2 double winners, 3 double winners. Okay. So the chances are amazing. And let's say you fail or you couldn't make it, you're going to make it by yourself. So whatever you do, it's going to be amazing. I mean, usually it's easy to have the 3 units. So, and even if by you trying to work it out, it's very doable and it's worth it. Now, talking about the strategy, if you focus on those 3 units and those people inviting other people, creating those 3 units and earning really good money like this can translate in what you're seeing on the screen. And what the only thing we need to do is add the points that are created here and here. And just by, adding and adding, that's how it has to be done in Chile. Now, don't worry, because every Friday there are being calls, even in English, to explain and to talk about the opening in Chile. And by the way, don't worry, because you're inviting if you're inviting someone in Chile, most probably he speaks Spanish. So he'll get to connect to all the online and even already recorded presentations explaining the Nikken challenge. And we are starting to create flyers with that. Where's my phone? Okay, wait a sec. For you to, okay, I have it here. I'm Rebecca. I think a lot of people know Rebecca Zavalla, and she's working on this beautiful flyers that has to do exactly with our Nikken challenge. That, as simple as this, you can show people how much they do with 1, with 2, and selling 3 with
Beautiful.
Already the Chile pesos. Okay.
Would you send that to me, and then I'll add that to the list of things that I'll share with everybody after this call?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
So what I'm trying to say is, I know you all speak English. I know you don't have the Nikken challenge, but don't worry. I would never worry about that, because I mean, things are as easy as just resending. I mean, and the Chileans can plug into all the things that are happening by Nikken and by other people. So I think, here even in your screen are the different times, and they're all in Friday. I think they're all Fridays, and you'll eventually get a lot of information from Mike. I think that is the most important thing to know. But it's an amazing opportunity. It's very easy. It's very duplicatable. It's fun even. So I think it's a great opportunity to start in Chile with that.
So let me, if I may, I'm just going to recap. So what we have is a launch strategy to invite people, a process to invite people into our opportunity during this pre-launch phase, which will have them register. On December 2nd, they will be able to place orders. For what, you say? Well, the strategy for orders is these incentives to win Kinyai and to win Kintai. So these incentives, for instance, is what people will be doing. 3 waterfalls, for instance, and that's going to generate volume points. Now, when you put those volume points through this network, all happening on December 2nd, which is why the more time you have in pre-launch, the more of an exciting December 2nd you're going to have. Now, obviously, there's going to be a December 3rd, a December 4th, and so forth. But we want to help somebody or a group of people get as much bang for their buck as they can, which is centered around this launch strategy. what happens in the following 2 months of December and January is the follow-up, the continuation of this, but the momentum will have been established by those front runners. Ben, where's Ben? Are you there, Ben?
Yeah.
By the way, just to recap here, this list of calls is the call list of the 6 lock-in events. So you can invite somebody to this, and they're going to understand what's going on. You'll see Roy Horner, Royal Diamonds doing one, Gloria Nava's doing one, and so forth. So we'll make sure you have this list as well. So Ben, you've already been active in Chile. That's pretty exciting. What can you tell us about the strategy going forward after December 2nd?
Well, I think the critical thing is I would re-emphasize the value of using these incentives right here and now. The benefit of this is really in the repetition. If we can help people get locked in, plugged in as soon as possible to those incentives, again, here's a unique opportunity here where someone can sign up and they're not paying the sign-up fee until December 2nd, which means they can also be signing up other people who are not really paying anything until December 2nd. Yeah, they can be getting all of their customer orders lined up, but they're not placing the order till December 2nd. So they've got all of this activity that they can get involved in, and then December 2nd goes, the switch gets flicked, and then boom, they've got these big checks coming their way almost immediately. And what a great thing to have so quickly. So there is huge validation that comes to them of, can I do this? Yes, I can. Is there money to be made? Yes, there is. Are other people doing it? Yes, they are. There is evidence that others are doing it. There'll be evidence that they are doing it. And there is evidence in their own pocket that there is results that meet their needs and exceed them. The benefit of that is that then catapults them to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Because what is fundamental here, here's one of the other key benefits of a startup phase, is we teach by example what we want everyone to do consistently throughout the course of the following year. So as we roll on into January, roll on into February, roll on into March, what are we teaching them? Exactly the same thing. But we're doing it with all of this conviction that, look at all these examples of people achieving this, achieving their goals, getting the results, earning money. And so with that, what do? Just do what everyone else has been doing, plug in, follow the model, and it just repeats itself and repeats itself. So you've got social validation, financial validation, commercial validation, and it really is about repetition. What I love about this is when you look at our plan, which is wonderfully simple, that we can build an organization as large or as small as we choose, but we do it on a 3-legged stool for the sake of balance, yeah? So that we're not putting all our eggs in one basket. Why do we have to have 3 legs? Just for our own security, our own peace of mind. That's why, yeah? So we have that, and that filters through every channel of our compensation plan. That's exactly what we want to have happen. How do we get it monetized? Because it's not about recruit. It's about recruit and sell products to customers. We're building an organization, yeah? And we're getting paid for our leadership to inspire that organization to be as effective and productive as possible. So what we've got here is the whole workings of a fantastic model. We've got the framework. We've got the best way to monetize it. It's incentivized for extra bonuses. We've got a training system in place with consistent calls, with live meetings, and with marketing materials and tools for support. And the nice thing is that doesn't need to change on a moving forwards basis. We just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Michelle just asked a question, how often are payments sent to consultants? Retail profits are paid weekly. Organizational bonuses, the commissions from the compensation plan are paid monthly. And that goes right into their bank accounts with the details that they get, that they put in when they enroll and when they sign up. So to me, this is really, really exciting. It's the perfect blend of everything that we want. And this is what I'd add as well as to why we want to be urgent in this window of time. Because when February 2nd kicks off and we have the launch event and we have the recognition and the celebration, you want to have as many people in your team walking across the stage as possible. And the reason for that is if we can maximize this window in the pre-launch and engage people in these incentive programs, really teach that, emphasize that. When people are walking across the stage validated and recognized and celebrated, what does that do? One, it strengthens them, but two, it also strengthens your position as a leader. And people can go, I can trust what you're saying because you get results. You know, your team's winning. Everyone wants to join a winning team, right? I don't want to join the team that's losing. I want to join the team that's doing great. And we give people a chance to do that when we plug in at the front end and make the most of this wonderful, unique period of being in that temporary phase where they can join up, they don't have to pay, they're not buying the product just yet, but we're teaching the process, we're reinforcing the model, we're training, and we're getting everyone's mindset on get them to the next level, and get everyone doing the same so that we can capitalize. That bonus of nearly $1,000 in 1 month is huge in Chile. And so that's a wonderful incentive in and of itself. And people want to say, how much, I got asked that question this morning by one of my guys in Chile. How much do I make as a consultant, as a distributor in the Nikken business? Right, here's your answer. If you do X, Y, and Z, follow this incentive program, you can make $1,000 in 1 month. We've got clear, concise exercises of practice what you do, and this is what you get for it. Effort, result, reward. It's all mapped out. And I think that is very, very encouraging. But like I said, the neat thing that I like is if anyone's on the fence, oh, do I, don't I? Here's a unique opportunity that you've got that you don't have anywhere else. Well, why don't you sign up now before December 2nd and no harm lost. You're not paying anything yet. You can change your mind if you wish, yeah? But in the meantime, let's help you get some results and let's get a few customers lined up. Let's get a few people signed in. If they do that, they've got nothing to lose either, by the way, because they're not paying yet either. Because the official launch is until the 2nd, which means if I'm going, oh, okay, well, I'll sign in now just in case. I'll see if I can do this. And then they get the results coming through. Come December 2nd, their mind's made up. They're not going to back out. No one that's signed up a new consultant that's got a couple of customers, that's got money waiting to be earned, right there on the tree, waiting to be plucked. They're not going to turn their back on that. Yeah, so this is a great way to say, just, you've got nothing to lose right now. Get it all lined up. Get it going. Just get a few people in place. And if you do that and that commitment is kept, you've got your reward straight away. I think that's fantastic. And within the first week with your retail sales. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Fantastic. Wow. Well, I love that last point there about, I mean, you actually have nothing to lose. So, yeah. I have to admit, in the 2 weeks that I was in pre-launch, we were not able to actually register because we weren't able to submit application forms until January 2nd. But as of December 19th, what I had done is I went to a lawyer and I got an agreement put together, really simple, just a few words, that gave me power of attorney to sign a Nikken application form on your behalf when we are able to actually officially do that. So because I had that, I was able to start building a tree. And I had people doing the exact same thing. So we started assembling a tree. Again, nobody actually paid any money because it wasn't until we actually had the Nikken application form. So I did this for 2 weeks. And I can tell you that was key for the pre-launch phase to get things really going. And like you said, Ben, when people have vested interest, when they have people lined up, that's when the excitement becomes a frenzy. And so come January 2nd, we were 11 people. January 2nd, we were 11 people. By the end of January, we were 300 people official in the network. So kaboom. And of course, what did we do? Well, we were encouraged to buy what we called a business pack at the time, which was about $700 or 700 points. I can't remember exactly, but essentially we had something to purchase because it was all we had. We didn't have the sleep system yet, and we didn't have water system. We didn't have a whole bunch of stuff. We just had the magnetics with core nucleus. So by Nikken narrowing down the product line to just something that's very palatable to the Latino market, especially to the concern of water, it's such an obvious sale. It's such an obvious product. It's the best-selling product down there. So to limit the product line to just that, where the only decision is, do I want it or don't I, then it just simplifies the decision-making process. It's a yes. It's going to be hands down a yes to customers. It's going to be hands down yes to people registering. So bottom line is take advantage of this window. And the last point I want to make as well, as we kind of wrap up here, is everything that we've talked about here in terms of a pre-launch, if you look at the actual principle of the matter, we have a pre-launch window. We have a launch date. Who decided that? Nikken. You can decide whatever launch date you want. We had a launch date here in Canada just recently when we launched the launch. The concept of humans being more is a new concept, a new phase in our growth here in North America, launched in Canada on October 4th and 5th. So we had a launch date. Anybody who joins the business can have a launch date. So they have the day they signed, they have a pre-launch window, and then they have a launch date. Now, if you look further, we have the February 1 grand event that Nikken's having in Chile to recognize all the achievements until that point in time that leverage that launch. Well, if you're thinking forward, you're going to say, when's the next big event in North America, if you're in North America, or in Latin America, if you're in Latin America? When's the next big event that I can hold out as that grand event where we're going to recognize the achievement of the group that we're launching? So that should be something you do every quarter. You should be tying your launch activities around an event. So that's called, by the way, by definition, the rhythm of the business. There's a rhythm to the event schedule, and people then set up their launch activities. They're launching new branches, new legs in the business according to the strategy. Pre-launch window, launch, and then the momentum phase, and then the recognition at the end of the momentum phase at the big event. So you should be thinking backwards. If you've got somebody brand new on the team in North America, what's the next event that you're going to have them recognized at, and what is it that they're going to be recognized for? Then work backwards. And that should be the objectives, the goal, the business plan for that individual, which will center around that launch. So these principles are the same whether you're launching a country or you're launching an individual. Just put it on paper. Write down a date. I call those dates with destiny. Have a launch date. Have a pre-launch, because that's before the launch. So the sooner we can get people in, they should be speaking the language of pre-launch to people. Ben, last words.
Yeah, I'm going to say this for those that I know I'm going to be sending this recording to. Okay. So I talked just really briefly before about following that structure that Mike and Paulina laid out before, with the map of getting 3 people, getting them each having 3 customers at least selling the water products to, and then going the next level deep and building that out in order to maximize the incentive. I referenced that there is almost no risk in this at this early phase because people can join without paying until December 2nd. You can get your customers lined up. They don't have to, they only have to make the commitment. Yes, I will place my order on December 2nd. You can get that all mapped out to reassure you of your near $1,000 check that you will get as a consequence of them keeping that commitment. Very minimal risk involved in that process. Now, what I want to stress is, one could say, if they're looking at this for the first time, there's always got to be a risk. What if the product isn't good? What if it doesn't get delivered in a meaningful way? What if I get disappointed with this, that, or the other? What if my check doesn't come through? There could be a whole host of apprehensive questions that one could throw out. Let me reassure you of this. Word of mouth in today's day and age can destroy a company that fast. We have social media and the internet. It can destroy things very quickly. I want to just go around the room really quickly and ask a few questions. Because here's the thing, when product gets delivered and it's excellent and it's superior, when checks get delivered on time, and in the 45 years that Nikken's been in business, they have never been late in paying a commission check to any single person. Of the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands that have earned checks, never missed a payment, never made it late. That's incredible. And the product is fantastic and superior. Otherwise, we wouldn't be celebrating our 45th anniversary next year. So that gives evidence to the fact the model works, because word of mouth would have killed it a long time ago. What's it doing instead? It's seeing us expand. It's seeing us grow. It's seeing us go into new markets. So let me just ask a quick question in conclusion to my comments. Mike, how long have you been in Nikken?
Almost 28 years.
Almost 28 years. Paulina, do you want to unmute really quickly? How long have you been in Nikken?
Almost 16, 17 years, more or less.
16, almost 17 years. Sue Gruber, you're there. How long have you been in Nikken?
13.
13 years. That's impressive. Michelle Kowalchuk, how long have you been in Nikken?
Coming 20.
Coming up 20. Maggie McGee?
Maggie McKee, almost 25.
Almost 25. Look at this, guys. For those of you that are looking at this for the first time for the sake of training and education, we've got people here, and I could go on. There's a ton of people here that have been here for more than a decade, more than 2. Why is that? How is that possible? If the products weren't fantastic, if people weren't getting paid their checks on time, if Nikken didn't deliver on these incentives, it just wouldn't be happening, because word of mouth would kill it that fast. But it doesn't. It does the opposite. Instead, prior to our 45th anniversary, we're going, let's open another market. Let's do something great. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. So guys, if you're looking at this for the first time, going, should I do it? Should I not? There's got to be a resounding yes, because in the month of December, you could have a fantastic check. So that's my final comment.
Great point. I think we should probably end on that note. Thank you, Paulina, for joining us on the call, everyone here listening. And for those of you watching the playback, you can, all the PowerPoints and the references that we made, I will make available to you. Here's how. If you would like to be part of this conversation for the express purposes of launching in Chile, then send me a WhatsApp message. I will add you to a WhatsApp group that we created for Chile. And then we will, once I have, after the next 24 hours, everybody lined up, I will then fire them all, those documents to you, and you'll all receive them through that WhatsApp. So again, just to be clear, rather than having just simple, people who are just interested in Chile, I mean, those of you who really have vested interest, somebody who's got somebody in Chile. So we want to create an app, a WhatsApp group chat for the specific purpose of this event and the launch of the country. So how do you get a hold of me? My cell phone number, so you'd have to add me to your list, is 416-409-5800. Country code is 416-409-5800. That's my cell phone. Send me a WhatsApp chat. Add your name, full name, because usually with WhatsApp, you don't see that. So give me your name, first and last name, send me a WhatsApp, say, please add me to the Chile launch WhatsApp, and we'll add you to that, and then we'll gather that up in the next 24 hours and then fire all these documents your way.
What?
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Have a great launch.